Hello and welcome to a rather special Sunday repeated on Wednesday program, and this is
the mojo here. The winning boy's magic.
Marge, this ticket doesn't just give me a seat. It also gives me the right, no, the duty to make a complete ass of myself.
But as for me, I'm off to battle aliens on a faraway planet.
Hello, operator, give me the number for 911.
Who sent you here? Can't talk, little man? Bet can't play none either.
I could pull a better cartoon out of my ass. Hey, whoa! Wasn't that great, kid?
Oh, bitch, bitch, bitch.
Kill my boss. Do I dare live out the American dream?
Overload. Pleasure overload.
Uh-oh. 2 independent thought alarms in one day.
Well, good morning, Wood Ticks and Patriots. Good morning. Top of the morning to you. 3/20/24. Got a good show for you today. We're going to talk about a lot of things, including Texas. Everybody's talking about Texas. The immigration law. SCOTUS has got to make a decision. Maybe today. Whatever. We're going to talk about Trump and, his bloodbath. Everybody's talking about that thing. I don't remember now if I have the whole doggone thing. Of course, Nancy Pelosi, she's going to get in on the act. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out with some very interesting tidbits that I think y'all should know about. But make sure that you don't have the kiddies in the room sometime. This is an adult show anyway. I'm not a sailor, but sometimes I swear like a drunken sailor. I give out some quarters. You betcha. And if you got some news you want to tell us, make sure you send it to news@thejustjimshow.com. Hey, pick up some swag. The Just Jim Show coffee mugs. There's hoodies, sweatshirts, hats, hunting season. We got scarves, camo, the whole 9 yards. Oh, and the FCC has now done some things to the broadband world that might benefit you. For any of you who are getting the $30 discount for bad internet or no internet, not enough internet. They're talking about making some changes, which won't be too bad for many of us. Anyway, we'll be back in a few seconds. Be right back. Hey, welcome back. Again, if you got some news, send it to news@thejustjimshow.com. We'll be happy to consider it. And with that, let's get right into it. The Supreme Court will decide if Texas can arrest migrants for illegal entry. This kind of an interesting story or storyline for those of you that follow it. You hear about the buoys that were put up, the barbed wire that was put up for, I don't know how many miles it was that Abbott put them up. But The whole mess is getting, tossed back and forth between the Supreme Court and the Texas courts. And Texas plans to arrest migrants who cross the U.S. border illegally is on hold, which somehow the demos always put things on hold or just do what they want. While the nation's highest court considers a challenge led by the Justice Department to Republican Governor Greg Abbott's latest move over immigration. Justice Alioto has ordered a stay until Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and when the law could potentially take effect. Now, this is a story that's coming out of the AP, which is the news line that comes into all the liberal media across the entire country. I get it. I choose to not read a lot of it. But this is how they break it down to a news director that shoves it at 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock down your throat. Who can be arrested? Things to know. Who can be arrested? The law Governor Abbott signed in December allows Texas enforcement to arrest people suspected of entering the country illegally, although officers must have probable cause, like walking across the border maybe, cutting through barbed wire. Probable cause? Don't know. Ho-ho. Although officers must have probable cause, critics have said it could lead to racial profiling and family separation. This is the chicken little cry of the demos. Where will the law be enforced? In any of the 254 counties, including those hundreds of miles from the border. So if you scoot across the border and you make it up into Texas a ways, it still could take effect and you could get arrested. Some places are off limits, like in public and private schools. Yeah, God. And think about what happens in public and private schools with the day-to-day operations of whether to arm or train teachers and school personnel when someone trespasses and wants to do bad things to our kids. Places of worship or hospitals and other healthcare facilities. So if you come across the border and maybe you got chicken pox. Wait, chicken pox? I got to turn this up a little bit. There. Maybe you have chicken pox. That means that an immigration officer couldn't come and arrest you while the doctor is working on you. Not exactly what I call fair play. Is it constitutional? Again, this is from the AP. The Justice Department, legal experts, of course, and rights groups. Okay, I won't go into that. Have said the measure is a clear conflict with the U.S. government's authority to regulate immigration. Now, are you saying or in agreement that what's happening along our southern border and now our northern border, are you saying that this is immigration or is it an assault on our country? I'm not sure. It's over my pay grade. Yeah, right. Wink, wink. Have said the measure is a clear conflict of the U.S. government's authority to regulate immigration. U.S. District Judge David Ezra agreed and added that the law could hamper U.S. foreign relations and treaty obligations. Now, I'm going to suggest that treaty obligations might mean financial support, because every treaty we make, we buy our way in some way, shape, or form. So, what do you think about that? And, of course, over this last weekend, Trump was in Iowa, I think it was. Yeah, doing a campaign. And this is out of U.S. News, but it's compiled into the AP newswire that shows up on our email list every morning, every day. There's a morning edition a midday and a late day. Former President Donald Trump claimed that he, not President Joe Biden, will protect Social Security and warned of a quote-unquote bloodbath if he loses in November as he campaigned for Senate candidate Bernie Moreno in Ohio. Here's the story. I can't stay up late at night and make this up. I'm serious. The winner of today's GOP primary will face third-term Senator Sherrod Brown, viewed as among the nation's most vulnerable Democrats. Tammy Baldwin might be considered as vulnerable. Read more. And, of course, why does this matter? At Saturday's rally backing Moreno's candidacy, Trump used the stage to deliver a profanity-filled version of his usual rally speech that again painted an apocalyptic picture of the country if Joe Biden wins a second term. Apocalyptic? I'm wondering. A Biden campaign spokesman accused Trump of doubling down on his threats of political violence. That's quote-unquote. Doubling down on his threats of violence. Boy, the story just doesn't stop, does it? I just don't know if they know when it's time to give up on something. And, you know, a lot of people have said, oh, Jim, you're a Trump aficionado or a Trump backer. And all I can say is, no, not really. This dumb thing. Where is it? There it is. I got to think reverse here. Not really, because I don't care for some of the things that he says in the middle of the night. And he goes off script, even if you had a script paddle, the speech paddle set in front of him. How the demos have taken and the mainstream media have taken from context the one word bloodbath. Yes, he said it, but if you've heard the entire conversation of what it was he said, it had nothing to do with exactly what they're claiming. I just don't know. Biden campaign says he's going to double down. He wants another January 6th, but the American people are going to give him another electoral defeat this November because they continue to reject his extremism. No, talk about extremism and his affection for violence. Where does this? I just don't know where they pull this stuff out of there. You know what? And his thirst for revenge. James Singer charged in a statement. This marked a major blow to Secretary of State Frank LaRose, who had taken a number of steps to win his favor. LaRose and Moreno have aligned themselves with the pro-Trump faction of the party, while a third candidate, Senator Matt Dolan, is backed by more established Republicans. So that would mean established. Can I put my own terminology to this? Established means swamp. Swamp. That's right. So, and if you haven't heard Trump's talk about where the bloodbath came from, I'm thinking you really need to look it up. I'm not going to say anything. I'm probably not going to play it. I don't think I have it on the clip thing here. I am not going to play the entire clip, but it had to do with auto workers, China, and importation of vehicles using cheap labor and blah, blah. If you think you're going to get away with it, there'll be a bloodbath. And it was a monetary commentary, not a social discord commentary. And I'm sorry that those that be in power right now are that afraid of someone in their political realm. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I surely do not, and quit calling me Shirley, I surely do not think like the swamp. I just can't bring myself to blatantly lie, take from context, and then wave a flag of, oh, he said this. It's this Chicken Little stuff. And most of the stuff that you're going to hear has reference to the January 6th event, and bloodbath will be tied together. I wish it would stop, you know?
The president has a big stick.
Well, and we're finding that out here in the mainstream media, don't we? Aren't we? You betcha.
Uh-oh. 2 independent thought alarms in one day.
That's right. And right after we come back, I got to talk about Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. She seems to be swinging over to the, what's the word I could use? To the Schmidt list. Schmidt. Is there a Schmidt list? I'm thinking there is. But anyways, when I come back, I'm going to talk about this. Right back. We're talking about, we had just talked about the Texas crossings, and I'm going to relate back to that story only because of this picture. When I say we get an AP wire, that's Associated Press wire, we do. And this is what they shoved down the road, a guy and 2 kids. Now, the majority of pictures that you see in the border situation is nothing but 25 to 35-year-old males. Very few women, very few children. And now with the issues going on in Haiti, there's rumors that they're going to send them, if they're going to take anybody from Haiti, they're going to take them and put them in Guantanamo Bay. Why take them? That's all I can say. That's really all I can say. But you cannot take everything for granted that you see and hear. And I don't know if you're going to hear this or not over the next... Oops, I got that wrong. I'm sorry, I'm looking away because I got to see where this is. There it is. Let's... there she be. There, I can say that. Just take a listen to this.
First of all, this is not a ban on TikTok. I'm a grandmother of teenagers. I understand the entertainment value, the educational value, the communication value, the business value for some business on this. This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe, a winner.
Well, let's just think about that. This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. This isn't Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around here today. This is Pelosi giving her impression of what the TikTok situation is. It's not an attempt to ban TikTok. Have you seen, you probably haven't, the amount of information that the Chinese, the parent company of TikTok, gathers each and every second of every day, of every month. It is astronomical. And artificial intelligence, as there's this huge conversation about that and its appropriate use in our government or our day-to-day life, if you notice, sometimes you can't notice. You kind of have to have a trained eye. But you can raise an eyebrow and maybe make a comment to your significant other and make the comment that, yeah, that doesn't look quite right. It probably isn't. It's probably artificial intelligence. On the television, the vocal stuff, anybody can be doing me. Can be anybody you want. Give me 20 words from my mouth, and I will create an artificial intelligent me. Or dumb me, whichever it happens to be. This village idiot doesn't have a clue.
A winner.
Wow, a lot of gifts for you. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, thank you, baby. This is so cute. Slay, huh? Yes, 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 yes. Oh, thank you, baby. This is so cool. Yes, 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 yes.
It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe. A winner. A winner.
Do you actually believe that, village idiot? I don't get it. Where in God's green earth does this person retain a seat in any power structure in our country? I sincerely don't have a clue. Well, I do. She's from California, I guess, and she keeps begging voters to vote for her and Feinstein when she was around. Anyway, Margaret Taylor Greene came up through her investigation, or it was turned over to her by someone, maybe Tom Fenton, I'm not sure. But anyway, this story, make sure the kids are gone. You just don't want to hear this story. You may not want to hear the story. Come back in a couple of minutes if you don't. This is a tweet from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's tweet-ette. Scalps were taken from humans aborted at the gestational age of 18 to 20 weeks of pregnancy. At the Maggie Women's Hospital at the University of Pittsburgh Health Sciences Tissue Bank. I've constantly said and reported on aborted baby fetal baby parts. And if you have watched any of my other shows, we get into it. We name names, we name places, and here we go again. In 2020, just a couple of years ago, researchers at the University of Pittsburgh, this isn't some biolab in Wuhan. This is right here in the United States. The University of Pittsburgh published their work on the development of humanized mice and rats. And I've reported on this situation before. The Center for Medical Progress, progressives. You know the words, the terminology, liberals, progressives? Here we are again. The Center for Medical Progress exposed the University of Pittsburgh's work to graft the full-thickness scalp of unborn babies onto the backs of rodents in a study funded by, guess who? Yeah, our wonderful friend, Anthony Fauci, NIAID office under the National Institute of Health, NIH. This guy has financially supported, you can go, it's public information. Fauci has funded the Wuhan lab, which gave us our ever-friendly COVID-19, not a bat in a wet market, although we have bats around here. There goes a swear word I never said. And he's funded Ukrainian biological labs. And we talked about that back when Russia invaded Ukraine. Why do the Russians not perform a scorched earth attack on Ukraine? We showed you the maps back when. I believe there were 8 biolabs in Ukraine. And they did not want to release those little germs floating around. So she goes on to say, if Democrats want to continue talking about abortion, we will actually talk about it in graphic detail. And I do have a picture, which I think I just blew away. It's sitting here somewhere. I'll look at it next commercial break. Maybe not. There's pictures of human hair growing in patches, little circles on mice and rats on their backs that were implanted from aborted babies. Can you, if you can't hear the disgust in my voice about this going on in our country at whatever tax-funded place of employment, and the University of Pittsburgh is, I'll guarantee you, I can go find the financials on that place, nothing flat. You can too. It's funded by our tax dollars. To what end? To take scalps full. God, I can hardly talk about it. The scalps of 18 to 20 weeks babies aborted. And Fuji, there's a company in California that picks up aborted baby fetal parts and ships them over to the University of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia for lab work. I don't know. I hope. She goes on to say, that's why I'm holding a hearing on investigating the black market of baby organ harvesting tomorrow with special guest witnesses. And I hope that Jocko is one of her witnesses. He's one of the biggest anti-trafficking abortion voices I think I've ever heard. He's usually over on the Blaze. Someday I'll call him up. Or Tom Fenton. Maybe he'd be over there from Judicial Watch. I'm telling you, there are people who fight the good fight who just, you can't have it both ways. You want to talk about abortion and then you're going to go do this? I just don't get it. God, I got to take a break. I'm going to pop a cork. I'll be right back. Sorry, I had my mic off. You know, I got to go back. Hang on. Let me get the picture. Yeah, this here, so you have audio with it. This is a picture of the human skin appendage hair that the NIAID office funded. Dr. Fujiyama, our best friend, our friend and ally in making America better. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's with our friend Joe, Sniffin' Joe. He did that.
Build Back Better. You've been hearing it a lot these days, mostly from people who get all their news from Facebook and believe everything it says. Well, here at Build Back Better Bank, we know you want the most from your money. That's why this week, if you open a new checking account, we'll give you a hard-boiled egg and a popsicle. That's right. How do we do it? Well, we're building back better. Need a tank of gas to get to your job? We have loans available for that too, at 3 different huge interest rates. Good grief, holy smokes, and WTF. Plus, check out our new Build Back Better home equity loan so you can afford groceries this week. Only 579% interest, even less if you recently died from murder hornets or monkeypox. Because at Build Back Better Bank, we understand. Build Back Better Bank, where delusional thoughts become reality every day.
Every day. Yeah. Here we go. All right, with that, Build Back Better. The FCC updates broadband speed standards, aims for nationwide high-speed internet access. Well, that means that us poor slobs who live around Lake Wish I Be Gone and the bunker, we ain't going to get any of this. It's going to go to Metropolis. Yeah, well, Batman will have some anyway. U.S. Federal Communications Commission has updated the national broadband speed standard to at least 100 megabits download. That's download, so you can watch us. And 20 megabits upload speed. So the upload speed is what we need. And pay big time for upload speeds. Marking the first adjustment since January 2015. This decision aims to align the current federal and state program standards, consumer usage, and offerings by internet service providers. The move ends a period where a standard remained at 25 megs and 3 megs. 25 down, 3 megs up, reflecting a division between Democrats favoring higher speeds and Republicans opposing changes. You know, and sometimes I wonder who's our ally in the broadband business, because there are times the demos don't want us to expose what they're doing, and the Republicans at times don't seem to be much different. The standard is more than a guideline. It influences FCC's regulatory actions regarding the deployment of broadband services across the United States. With a new benchmark, the FCC might conclude that broadband providers are not sufficiently expanding access. They aren't around here. We paid for broadband services that could not be delivered to our location here at the bunker. And maybe 6 months later, I finally said, well, maybe I'm going to downgrade my services to what you can deliver and only pay for that. Oh, novel idea. Companies screwing their customers. Political dynamics. FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel advocated for the speed increase before her current position, proposing a new standard in 2022. However, a deadlock persisted until a Democratic majority was established with Biden's second nominee's confirmation in 2023. Here we go, partisan politics. Is it good for America or isn't it? Let's lock our little kiddies up at home, make them go to school, but we won't give them enough bandwidth so that they can actually log in and actually have a class. Novel idea, isn't it? Yeah. The FCC's recent report highlights the inadequacy of the old speed benchmark, showing a significant number of Americans, especially in rural and tribal areas. Wait a minute, rural, Lake Wish I Be Gone, and tribal areas lack access to advanced broadband. The report also introduces a future goal of 1 gigabit download and 500 upload speeds. Let me make a comment that if you have the buckaroonies, old Elon Musk, Starlink is what gives you, and you spend the money. It's $150 a month plus the cost of the equipment, thereabouts, ballpark. Not a paid subscriber. He gives you what's called asynchronous. If you buy 100 megabits down, you get 100 megabits back up. That's asynchronous. This partitioning of bandwidth sucks a green weenie. But Starlink, I believe they're 500 by 500. And if you can't scream around what it is you do as an average internet user, I hope you got deep pockets. But and as people that travel in RVs, motorhomes, they're lacking specifically because they travel around and they either get Starlink or they have to rely on Wi-Fi, which pretty much sucks. The report also entered, for a 1 gig download at 500 megabits upload speed, serving as a milestone for evaluating progress in broadband deployment. This update from the FCC signals a significant shift towards acknowledging and addressing the digital divide. I love who comes up with these terms, digital divide, with the aim of improving nationwide broadband infrastructure to meet modern needs and future challenges. You know, when they lock us up again the next time, they're after control of anything and everything that you might think you want to do. Ain't that the truth? I don't know. I'm going to go over these couple of things here. Coming in from who's doing this one? Oh, coming out of Forbes. Well, okay. Old news, but if you haven't heard it, it's new news. Macy's announced its plan to shutter 150 stores through 2026. So for the next 2 years, Macy's will be starting to be missed in your neighborhood. We never had one up here, Lake Wish I Be Gone, so I wouldn't know. The 150 store figure represents around 1/3 of Macy's U.S. stores, and the company says approximately 50 stores will close by the end of this year. There you go. Of course, Bitcoin's going gonzo again. If you would have got in when it was, whatever the heck it was, when it was low, the digital whatever. And the FTC and 8 states filed a lawsuit to block Kroger's proposed $24.6 billion acquisition of Albertsons, the largest proposed supermarket merger in the nation's history. The deal is more anti-competitive. The Kroger, can't talk today. The Kroger-Albertson merger would operate more than 5,000 stores across the country and employ over 700,000 workers per the FTC. Interesting. We don't have Kroger up here either. I always thought I had a Kroger store when I was back home down in the southern part of the state. Now, a company by the name of Flock, a $4 billion company with surveillance systems. AI, we just talked a little bit about it. That uses AI to fingerprint cars. Fingerprint, what does that mean? Invasion of privacy? Ooh, maybe you're not all what you think you are. Is on a mission to reduce crime in America by 25%. Absolutely the way to get in and get your work out on the streets. Say you're doing it to save America, to buck crime. Absolutely. But in its rush to install surveillance cameras in the absence of clear regulatory framework, isn't that a legislator's magic term? The absence of clear regulatory framework. That means they roll their sleeves up and write some stupid language. You betcha. Flock repeatedly broke the law in at least 5 states. Company communications with state transportation agencies and interviews with more than a half a dozen former employees suggest. And you know, when it's suggested, it probably is. Oh, Boeing? Nah, we put all the screws back in the door. Nothing's going to fall off. Under science and healthcare, federal attorneys across the U.S. are investigating organ collection groups for fraud. Wait a minute. Marjorie Taylor Greene? Scalping? Oh, wait a minute. No, that's got nothing to do with this. And the Washington Post reported, are they really reporting good news? Following years of scrutiny by deficiencies plaguing the nation's organ transplant network. Oh, we're talking kidneys, lungs, hearts, not hair, which were not named, violated the False Claims Act by fraudulently billing the government, and whether there have been kickbacks between organ procurement organizations, which are nonprofits. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have to pay taxes when I'm a nonprofit, so I can lie to the government and get my grant. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Not. Yeah. A group of U.S. lawmakers are calling on Elon Musk to make SpaceX's Starship military-specific satellite communications network available. You have to give us what you made. Oh, wait a minute. A private enterprise? I don't know. To American forces in defense forces in Taiwan after years of refusing to do business in the country. Ooh, novel idea. In a letter to Musk obtained by Forbes, here we go, Forbes again. Representative Mike Gallagher, Republican in Wisconsin, reminded the billionaire of SpaceX contractual obligation to provide the U.S. Military of Defense, U.S. Department of Defense, with global access to its satellite internet services. So you don't have to rely on a telco on a military base or Wi-Fi's, whatever. He noted that the Pentagon is committing tens of millions of dollars over the next year to Starshield, which uses low Earth orbit satellites to provide communications and observational imagery to the military. Musk has the request is certain to discomfit. He has close ties with China, where Tulsa is a major manufacturing plant. I don't know. It's still a private enterprise. As goofy or as smart as you may think Musk is, he still has built his empire. It's highly, here's why it matters, their little take on the thing. It's highly unlikely that Musk can be cowed into activating Starshield in Taiwan by lawmaker pressure. And he has limited Starlink access in disputed parts of Ukraine. He turned off. Remember that? He turned the faucet off. If you start using it for wrong purposes, I just turn you off. But given the importance of SpaceX's military contracts with the U.S. government in Taiwan, he may have no choice to make. It's crazy that I'm about done with this overview crap. I can't fathom the continued reach into everybody's lives for not a lot of usefulness, as it were. And now we have state senators. This is, where was this? Tennessee, Missouri? I can't remember. Because a bill did not get passed. Now, this young lady is saying, we've had enough, we're not going to take it anymore, and the gloves are coming off. Yeah, the gloves are coming off. If only two. And Senator, what happened to that? Oh, I got the wrong one. Senator Satch has said and is encouraging that young lady to continue with her taking off the gloves. Martin Luther King said that, I'm trying to paraphrase, quote from the article, that the only good thing is a riot, this, that, and the other thing. So he's just going to encourage her. And that'll be that. And I tell you right now, I'm kind of disgusted with where we are. But, you know, there's always hope. And pay attention to the next couple of minutes of video. I play it a lot. Almost every show I close it with. And I'm going to close now for this week. And all I can say is keep the faith, get involved, know what you're talking about, and keep your friends close, your enemies closer. That's an old saying, and it's pretty true. Keep your heads up on this election thing and vote for the people that know what a patriot is. Till next week, or a little later if something exciting happens, I bid you adieu from the bunker at Lake Wish I Be Gone. Just Jim Show. Thanks for joining me. We'll talk again.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a defender. So God made a patriot. God said, I need somebody willing to sacrifice everything, his fortune, his sacred honor, even his life, for liberty and something called inalienable rights that he cannot see but knows he cannot live without. So God made a patriot. God said, I need somebody willing to ride a horse through sleepy towns in the dark of night, sounding the alarm, entreating neighbors to take up arms against an overwhelming force of wicked tyranny. So God made a patriot. God said, I need someone who, even after crushing defeats, rises up and stands tall. Someone who hears the clarion call that these are the times that try men's souls and does not shrink from the trial. Someone who will cross a frozen river in the dead of winter, when all logic and reason says turn back, abandon hope. So God made a patriot. Then God said, I need a man who knows of the rise and fall of great nations, who knows of human nature and the corrupting influence of power and the fragility of liberty. I need this man, along with his like-minded brethren, to write an enduring constitution. So God made a patriot. God said, I need a person, one person, who's willing to do whatever it takes, even write a book to confront injustice and spark a movement that would tear apart a people so that chains will rightfully be shattered and a blessed union eventually emerge. So God made a patriot. And God said, I need someone who, with the love of family and for the love of country, will cross a vast ocean and storm a heavily fortified beach. And, if he survives, charge through 200 yards of bullets and blood across that merciless beach. And if he survives, scale the towering cliffs. And if he survives, begin the long march to free a continent. And if he survives, return home and, with the same resolute determination, rebuild a nation, and someday be called the greatest generation. So God made a patriot. And God said, I need someone who will, without thought of self, invest in schools and scouts and church and community, so that the proposition that all men are created equal remains a beacon to enlighten the world, and that such a beacon shall not perish from the earth. So God made a patriot. And God said, I need someone who will have the courage to not give up her seat on a bus and thus force a nation to confront its deepest divisions and heal the wounds and pursue the dream that inspires all hearts. So God made a patriot. And God said, I need someone strong enough to stand against any enemy, foreign or domestic, that would try to steal the freedom so dearly defended, the rights so righteously upheld, yet gentle enough to help a small child carry a star-spangled flag in a hometown parade. So God made a patriot. Then God said, I need a man who will speak the truth to his own leaders, that in order to preserve our great nation, we will not sacrifice the well-being of future generations for the sake of our own. Someone who will tirelessly toil day upon night, no matter the setback, no thought of surrender. Someone who will prayerfully rise every morning to climb the wall as a defender, duly endowed with the honored gift of generations before, while offering a solemn promise to generations ahead. A defender who will ensure that the way of truth and the torch of liberty remain forever lit in this shining city on a hill. So God made a patriot.